Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Izzowned by Dantonio podcast. Today is December 27th. This is the day before the Holiday Bowl, and we are going to focus on the Holiday Bowl today. So let's get into it. We'll start with the Sparty news. Tomorrow, women's basketball is at Indiana for their Big Ten opener. Still not sure about Michigan State women's basketball this year. You know, they got a big win over USF earlier, and they have a really good freshman on their team, but we'll see what they'll do this year, and maybe they can get into the tournament possibly. Football, of course, tomorrow, Holiday Bowl against the Washington State Cougars. This is a big game for Michigan State for next year, and I'll talk about that later. And the men's basketball Saturday has a game against Cleveland State, which this is going to round off their easy schedule to get into Big Ten play. So just tune some things that they need to do better. That's for Saturday. So let's move on. 5 keys for Michigan State to beat Washington State. These 5 keys, they probably got to get 3 or 4 of these really if they want to beat Washington State. And I do think they have the mental advantage right now. Washington State's missing their top 2 receivers, and just the way they lost their final game was demoralizing. They got stomped by Washington, a team which is pretty similar to Michigan State, although is probably a lot better than Michigan State right now. So, let's go to the first key. They have to be able to run the football with L.J. Scott, Gerald Holmes, Madre London, whoever's running the football. They have to establish the run. And if they don't establish the run, it's going to be tough. You can't force Lewerke to throw the ball 100 times in this game because he did have 2 good games earlier, but he's been shaky over the last month of the season. But you have to be able to run the football with L.J. Scott. It can't be another Ohio State where you're averaging 2 or 3 yards a carry. It's got to be like a Rutgers where you're getting 6 or 7 yards a carry with L.J. Scott. And L.J. Scott's a really good back. So they got to be able to run the football. All right, let's go to the second key. Lewerke's got to make plays. He's got to be the Brian Lewerke of Penn State, not the Brian Lewerke of Ohio State. He has to make plays. He has to be able to throw the ball. His accuracy has been shaky over the last couple of games, but he's got to be able to do what he did against Northwestern and Penn State. And he doesn't have to throw for 400 yards, but he's got to make plays. When plays need to be made, long third downs, he's got to convert some of those. If they're able to establish the run, it'll make it easier on him. But say they don't establish the run, it's going to be all on the sophomore quarterback, and he's got to be able to find open receivers. He's got a good receiving core, although it's young. Felton Davis, one of the best receivers in the Big Ten. Some younger guys, Cody White, Hunter Rison, Darrell Stewart, guys like that. It's a good receiving core. And when Lewerke gets hot, it's almost impossible to stop him. And they might need him in this game if the run gets stuffed. Let's go to the third key. You have to be able to get pressure on Luke Falk. Luke Falk is not a mobile quarterback at all. He stands in the pocket. He's a pocket quarterback. If you get pressure on him, he's going to go down. He doesn't move well. And when he is pressured, he is not very good. Cal got pressure on him, and he was picked off many times in that game. Washington got pressure on him, and over the past years, Washington's got pressure on him, and he is folded under the pressure. He's folded under the pressure. So Luke Falk they have to make Luke Falk go down. They have to sack him a couple times. And not only sack him, but get pressure on him. So let's move on to the fourth key. Fourth key is they have to force turnovers. And this is one that Washington was able to do when they won. It was what it was what Cal did when they won, and what Arizona did. Run, they're going to have to force turnovers, right? A couple off of Luke Falk. When Luke Falk turns the ball over, he turns it over in bunches this year, and we've seen that. So force turnovers, right? He has not been himself this year, Luke Falk. He's made some bad mistakes. He's still a good quarterback, but if you get pressure on him, he'll make some bad throws, and he will be careless with the football at times. you have to be able to get pressure on them. And when you get pressure on them, it can force some turnovers. So 3 and 4 do go together. Let's go to the fifth key. Don't turn the ball over. This is on the flip side. Early in the season, this was the Achilles heel for Michigan State. The reason why they lost 20 points to Notre Dame was because they turned the ball over. It would have been a 14-14 game if LJ Scott did not fumble that ball on the 1 yard line and gave Notre Dame an easy field. I think maybe the game would have been different. I wouldn't. I'm not going to go that far, but Lewerke throwing that pick six early. Michigan State looked like the better team. It seemed like if they didn't turn the ball over once in that game, they might have won. But early in the season, whether it's Bowling Green or Western Michigan or Notre Dame, they just turned the ball over, and they fixed that later in the season. Ohio State was a bad game for that. Penn State, they did a great job in the Penn State game. The last 2 games were 2 easy teams, and they were able to do well there. So don't turn the football over. Those are my 5 keys. All right, and I don't think Michigan State has to be perfect to win this game. Vegas had Washington State as a 3-point favorite, and bettors actually betted it to a Michigan State favorite. So Michigan State is a 1-point favorite in this game, and from the onset, I think they have an advantage. From the mental area, I think they have an advantage. They need to take advantage of this. They don't have to be perfect. I'm not saying they have to have all 5 of these keys done to win the game. And if they do get all 5 of these keys, I think they'll win pretty big. I don't think they will. No, I said they win by 3 points. I think they'll win by 10 points. I think their 30-20 makes a lot more sense. So let's go. What does this game mean for 2018-19? No, I do think this is important for the psyche of Michigan State next year. And, not only is it important to get a 10-win season, you always want to do that and get Dantonio's 100th win at Michigan State. But it's important for next season because you want to get a good seed early, for bragging rights. And it's important for the psyche of the team when they know that they've just beaten a really good team from the Pac-12. They know they can beat anybody. So it's important for them to win this game. It's important for fans. It's important for everybody. It's important for the coaching staff just to start the year off on a high. If you lose this game, there's 6 months to think about it. 6 months to think about it, and that's not good. And they're the favorite in this game. I think they should win this game. But again, they have to have the mental state going into the game. And this is a big game for them. They win this game, I think it'll be a springboard for next season to maybe be in the top 15, maybe even top 10. I'm not sure about that, but they're the youngest team in the Big Ten, second youngest behind Illinois. They started 13 freshmen this year, only started 3 or 4 seniors. And it's important for them to come out here and establish themselves, and say we're back. We're back to the national spotlight where Michigan State football needs to be. Well, and be a top 10, top 15 team going into next year and get respect. That's important for everybody. All right, that is going to be it for the podcast. Thank you all for watching. Again, I will do a recap on the Holiday Bowl probably on Saturday, maybe Friday. I'm not sure about that, but thank you everybody for watching the Izzowned by Dantonio podcast, and thank you.